Coach had a commitment that he had to keep tonight, so we're happy to have linebackers coach here, Coach Chambers, with us, and receivers Coach McBride is with us tonight. Happy to have these two guys here with us. We're going to start out on the couch here with senior defensive end, number 57, William Lukert, and number 9, John Mancuso. He's a junior, and he's a free safety. I almost said you're a free agent, but that's a couple years from now, right? I almost said free agent, but we'll stay with free safety for this week. Folks, let's go over it right now before we start. You've been following it all year long. You've been waiting for this week. We have Raven 6-0, Union 6-0, Elbert 4-2, Monticello 3-3, Banks 3-3, Putnam is 1-5, Social Circles 1-5, Oglethorpe is 0-6, and we're going to look at the top 4 in just a minute, the 3 and 4 spot. But what we do know is right there, 6-0. Both of these teams Friday night. Union will be traveling over to take on the Raven Tigers this Friday night. Both 6-0. This is the championship game. Both teams, regardless of what happens Friday night, both teams are have a home playoff game.
Correct.
Right? So both teams will be playing Week 11 at home. It's just Union wants to play in that top spot, and we're going to talk about that. Scores from around last Friday night, your Union Panthers 42, Social Circle 7, and Banks County 13, Monticello 14 over Banks County, and Oglethorpe, Raven 28, Oglethorpe 0, and Elbert 37 over Putnam 2. And so let's talk about Social Circle, Coach. Let's talk about the receivers coach first here, Coach McBride. You guys jumped out. You had big plays. You've been making some big plays. You had 50-some yard touchdown pass, 74, I think. Another one was 70. You had 2 of those. Immediately, you guys jumped out like you've been doing all year long, getting deep. Talk about Pearson. Talk about your receivers and at this point of the year, how well they're connecting.
Well, they're connected very well. We knew going into that game we'd probably see man from the previous game that we saw when they played Raven, so we were hoping we'd get that, and when we got the opportunity, we knew that all 4 of our guys could absolutely score on pretty much any route that we had. So, and I'll just say Pearson has a great connection with pretty much every receiver we throw on the field. I mean, even Chayton comes in just for a few plays sometimes, and he hits them right in stride. So it's something they've worked on from really starting in the spring all the way through 7-on-7, and they just have a rapport with each other that I've not really seen that in about 8 years of coaching. So it's been good.
So you haven't seen this 8 years of coaching. You haven't seen it quite the connection.
Well, I've seen it like when we had Joe Mancuso here. He would hit certain guys in stride,
right,
and adjust the ball accordingly. But maybe we didn't have the same receiver depth that we've had now. I mean, this is probably the most deep receiver core that I've seen since I've been here. So
yeah, Pearson has several guys to pick from, and I like when he rolls to the right. He's a left-handed quarterback. I love watching his highlights. He rolls to the right, and it looks like he might take off with it, and he backs up one step and finds the guy 10 yards down, and it's nice to watch, and it's enjoyable. But you had five passing touchdowns?
Yes, sir.
Five passing and 1 rushing?
One rushing.
And Pearson had that one also. Yes, let me talk about the defensive side here for a minute with William Lukert, number 57. Your defense all year long has shut down the offense of every team. Talk about Social Circle and how your unit is playing on that side of the ball right now.
Going into the Social Circle game, we knew that they had a very big offensive line, specifically number 77, and we wanted to make sure that we would shut him down and the rest of them. They run a similar offense to us, a lot of like counters and powers and such, so it wasn't really too much of a big deal going into like that week in terms of like game plan, because it was kind of the same stuff we ran all year. And I think the good thing about our defense is most of us have all grown up and played on the same team or around like the same age group, so we all have a great connection with each other and we feed off of each other.
Let me switch over while I got both of you on the couch here. John is free safety. Raven this Friday night. They have number 32, their running back. Okay, and then they do have some guys that can get deep and take off with their passing game. So what are you looking at with them this Friday night that you've been paying attention to on film? Because 14. He's a double threat also. He can run the ball, but he can throw it. He can get it out there. And they do have some quick receivers that can get down your way really fast.
We do realize the quarterback's pretty good as a freshman, and we're just trying to stop the big play. So if we can just limit the big plays and keep them 3 yards each play, it would be pretty good.
Let me ask you, and I want to get to you also with the defense because. You've not seen a team like this year. You've not, and in all fairness, they haven't seen a team like Union. So this is a very good matchup. I know Coach would get upset if he knew I was comparing stats because Coach, but I was looking at the stats and comparing this afternoon to see if I could get in any trouble. But then I found out he's not going to be here, right? So anyhow, but no, comparable with the stats, John. They do match up running. And not quite as many passing yards on the year, but you've not seen an offense like that this year. So as the free safety back there, talk a little bit about what you guys are working on and what you're watching for this coming Friday night.
We go against Kyle Morlock and Sawyer Drake every day in practice, and they're probably two of the best receivers in our region, if not 2A. And going up against them just helps us a lot coming into this week.
Let me talk to you, William, about their front line. I watched the Elbert game with them today. Their front line, all these guys across the front seem to be the same size, solid guys. Then they play well together, and they're going to push on your defense, and they're going to open up some holes and do what they can to get number 32 through there. So what are you seeing for Friday night?
We've looked at their line. Their center is a very, very good player. We're going to key a lot off of what he does. I really think we're treating it almost like any other week. We understand their offensive line very, very good, but you can't get too overwhelmed by them. Just kind of treat them as like any other player you would.
Coach Chambers, let me ask you that same thing as the linebackers coach. You're going up against a big front line, and this number 32, he can get outside. He knows how to find his holes, and it seems like he's able to turn a broken play into 4 or 5 yards or 7 yards. So talk about the linebackers and what you guys are seeing this coming Friday night.
Well, just to kind of play on what you started out with William, their offensive line, probably the best offensive line that we've seen all year. Center's a real good player. Guards and tackles pull really well. They run a lot of powers and counters like we've discussed. But the running back, he's shifty. He'll push it up inside, and then he's able to kick it out when he needs to make a play there. He's a good downhill runner. He's a really good downhill runner. So he runs for power inside, and then he's good at getting outside as well with some of the schemes that they run. Quarterback's a good runner as well. I mean, he's a good thrower, but they run some Q counters and Q powers with him, and he's not afraid to run it downhill as well. And anytime you're playing against a team that has a running quarterback, it makes it a threat for us defensively because we feel like that we've got one less guy for that running quarterback. And I'm sure our offense, they present problems for us defensively because Pearson has that ability to run as well. But as a linebacking core, we definitely have to. We've got certain reads. We got different reads for different schemes and different people that we play. But it's a lot of people are running two back powers, two back counters. They're a little bit different in in aspect, they will run the quarterback a little bit more. He's a threat to run, so that makes them really dangerous.
As far as the defense, I know you're a linebackers coach,
Mm-hmm.
but like for John, for example, what is that like for you of balancing staying home so all of a sudden somebody doesn't take off? I mean, there's going to be a lot to that to do Friday night is balancing to stay home and not get sucked in. Am I on the right track there?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I'd rather give up yards and come to make a play than having to chase somebody down from behind.
Come and make a play.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
So,
I see that. Yeah, where you're at, free safety, absolutely. Okay, guys, we're getting ready to come up on our break, and we ask all the guys on the couch from Friday night when you went home. Let's start with you, Mr. Lukert. On Friday night when you went home, what did you say? Critique yourself. What did you say you had to work on this week, you to get better?
Just like stepping and punching with my hands more, because I was looking at Raven over the weekend, and they use their hands very well. So just making sure I can get my hands on them first and take the right steps.
John, what is that for you? When you left Friday night, what did you say, hey, when I get to practice, critique yourself, what did you say you had to work on?
just tackling mainly. I had one missed tackle this past game. I just want to cut that down.
One missed tackle?
Yeah,
All right, let's not let that happen again. Okay, let's try to reel that in. Okay, but no, the best thing is that you recognize that and you want to work on that, and I appreciate you guys' answers. I appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget, folks, this team right here, the Union Panthers, 9-0, 6-0 in the region. They're going to go over Friday night and match up against Raven County. They are 6-0 in the region. I'm going to be there. It's the Team FYN Sports Game of the Week. I'm going to be there on the sideline with these guys. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to take a brief break. When we come back, we're going to have inside receiver number 20, Caden Rich is going to be with us. He's a junior. He's going to join us right after this. And don't forget, we don't want to forget to thank Domino's Pizza and Pepsi for the meal and the drinks. And we want to say Team FYN Sports, always highlighting and promoting young athletes in a positive way. We're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellen, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Model year-end clearance rolls on at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, and the discounts on 2018 Chevys are huge. Forget MSRP on America's pickup truck. Save over $13,000 off Silverado Crew Cab LT. Forget MSRP on America's muscle car. Save over $7,000 off Camaro. The model year-end discounts are huge, but the 2018 Chevys are going fast. Hurry to Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hey, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Team FYN Sports and Circuit World of Blairsville present Union Panthers. Playback. Again, we want to thank Domino's Pizza and Pepsi, and we want to ask you to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Team FYN Sports. Also, like our Team FYN Sports Facebook page. And we're talking 2A Region 8 football here. Head coach Brian Allison was not able to be with us tonight, but we have linebackers coach Chambers with us and receivers coach McBride is with us. And now joining us, junior inside receiver number 20, Caden Rich. Caden, congratulations, got your first touchdown pass Friday night, 54 yards, right?
52 yards.
52? I gave you 2. I mean, don't. Okay, would have, 52 yards,
Yes,
right?
Yes,
Talk about that, getting your first touchdown pass. That had to feel good, but talk about that.
Nah, it's just awesome. I mean, me and Pearson, we've known each other for a while, and I've known everybody else on the receiving corps. And I mean, I'm glad to. I love watching them score. It don't bother me that I didn't. I haven't scored, and I just. It was awesome to get my first touchdown.
So you've known Pearson for a while, and and you see, and you say, hey, right?
Yeah.
It's my turn, right?
Yeah.
Got it in there. Way to go! You guys had 5 touchdowns in the air this past Friday night against Social Circle, and 1 on the ground. Let's talk about Raven as far as a receiver. The one great thing, and I like what you said there, and that's why this is my opinion why this team is where it's at 6-0 is because you don't play selfish. Okay, that's my opinion. Talking to coach, talking to the players every Monday, and watching you play, you don't play selfish. So talk about what you guys are looking at on film and what you're going to see over there as far as their defense Friday night.
Well, it's probably going to be one of the best teams we've saw, and they're a very good team, and we've got a pretty high-powered offense, and we've got everybody's clicking real good together. Man, everybody's connecting real well, and everybody gets the ball, and nobody's selfish, and nobody tries to do a specific job. Everybody's doing their role and fitting their role very well.
Coach, let me ask you as a receivers coach, timing. Okay. Up to this point, I think maybe Elbert is the most competitive team that you guys have gone head-to-head with as far as the defense. Your receivers, timing, getting Pearson a time. I think that number 44, number 50, and number 54, I think those are the 3 guys up in the front.
Yes.
They've combined right now for 25 sacks. Apologize for that. I was the one. Luther, I thought you told me to turn my phone off. They've combined for 25 sacks and 12 interceptions. I watched those 3 guys, am I right, 50, 54, and 44.
Yes.
They're coming after you. As soon as that ball snapped, they're coming after Pearson. They're going to be pushing on that line. Might shorten up the time your receivers have.
Correct.
How you guys working on that this week?
Well, we'll do a lot of 60s games, a lot of fast passes going back and forth, trying to get them that way. Maybe some misdirection to try to get them out of their comfort zone a little bit, make them second guess where they're going to go. And the truth is, it's just going to be us having to provide an extra second, whether that's bringing somebody in, keeping it back in, or something to get a little bit of timing. But they're very aggressive and very good defensive front and linebacker core.
Yes. Yeah.
Linebacker core is
They're 3 up front, and then these guys fill the holes.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely
That's
fill the
correct.
holes, and it could shorten the timing that you've gotten used to this year. Talk about that yourself, here, Coach. Can I know you guys are both on the on the offensive side of the ball. On the how about the offensive line? Can anybody speak to that as far as these guys coming? What the line's working on this week, or what these 4 guys.
You're talking about our offensive line? Or?
Yeah, yours.
Okay. Well, we're just going to try to mix up protection. That's what it comes down to, and hope, whether it's a chip block, help out, try to identify who's coming, who's not coming. But, it's going to just be us manning up and taking on the block is what it's going to be. And if we don't do that, then we could be in trouble. But I believe our guys worked really hard and we've been preparing them for this. So I mean, we're excited for the opportunity to even get the chance to compete with this. So
well, I don't want to highlight their line, but I always say when you go to play somebody, the reality of where you're going,
absolutely,
you have to deal with. But on the other side, your guys' front line, they're in sync. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and same thing for you over here, Caden. What about from the receivers of that timing getting short, like Coach talked about? What are you guys seeing? Because they bring their linebackers up, and they can shorten the field on you.
We're just relying on our play calling from our offense coordinator, more quicker, getting the ball out quicker, and shortening up our routes and making our routes more crisp, and so we can get the ball out of the quarterback's hands a little bit quicker and get as much yards as we can possible from a catch.
So you guys, what is the mood like? What is the mood like in practice? We both you coaches. What's the mood like? How do you take a 9-0 team? You guys are 9-0. You know these young men know where they're at. They know they're 6-0. The guys they're going to see is 6-0. They're a good football team. How do you box that up this week in practice? Get your focus and set your direction.
Well, the one thing that this team has done a really good job of this year is just focusing really on us. No matter who we're playing, they know what's at stake Friday night, and practice was really good today, really loose at practice. And we just talk to them each week, whether it's game 1, game 10, game 5. Let's focus on us. Let's focus on one play at a time, one series at a time, one quarter at a time. And if we do what we're supposed to do, we'll be in a position to be successful. Now, luckily for us, in 9 games, we've come out on top with the scoreboard. So there's not really a lot of chatter about who we're playing. They know who we're playing. They know where we have to go. So it's really just a mentality today of just really focusing on us. Monday's a day for us where we make corrections, and we obviously start to look at Raven and what they like to do and within their different schemes, their different packages. But a lot of today is mostly focusing on us. But good mood at practice today, and but that's the way they've been all year. Once the game is over on Friday night, they enjoy it over the weekend, and then they come in on Monday ready to work. And so for us, it's game 10, and they know it's a big game, and we're excited to be in this position. We're excited to be able to go up there and play a really good Raven County team they've had a lot of history in the last several years. They've won a lot of ball games, and so we're just excited to go up there.
Team good and healthy at this point?
Yes, sir.
One more question in that direction, because let me just say, going over there, playing these guys, up in the 9 games you've played up to now, I would say Elbert is probably the only real team that you maybe had to make adjustments or early on or feel out how you were going to be able to play them once you're on the field. You have not had to, in my words, when you're getting 5 touchdowns in the air, 1 on the ground, you haven't had to immediately in that first quarter start looking at making adjustments, keying on this person, that person. Have you been looking at that this week, that, hey, this may be a different kind of game than we played, that early on first quarter there may be some on-site, boom, adjustments have to be made?
Yeah, I mean, Monticello was like that a little bit. I don't know if you were there.
No, I'm not familiar.
But Monticello, they were doing some things offensively and defensively, and that we had to make some adjustments. And we kind of got off to a little bit of a slow start. It was about 95 degrees at kickoff, and
I know, Coach.
we were not quite used to that.
Now, Monticello, that was like the 3-hour drive.
It was like 3+ hours.
Right.
Yeah. It was a long way, definitely. But that game, we had a little bit of adversity in that game, and we had to we had to make a few plays here and there to secure that win as well. Monticello, they're a good football team as well. Elbert, yes, that was a really neat environment for these kids to go and play in at the Granite Bowl over in Elberton, and I know they'll always remember going over there and playing and getting that victory. So they've been in some tough environments. We'll be in a tough environment Friday night. They do a really good job over there of creating a great high school atmosphere. I'm sure it'll be senior night, and they'll be ready to go. But there have been a couple of games where, yes, we've had to do that to make some of those adjustments, and I would imagine this game will be like that from kickoff until the end. It'll be both teams, playing a chess match with each other.
Let me ask both of you guys to answer this, because I may not have another opportunity to have you guys here. What is it like this year? Now, all of the teams that I've witnessed in this program in years gone by have been the same way, but this particular year, what is it like to coach selfless guys like this? I mean, everybody wants to football. This young man, I loved his answer. He got his first touchdown, but he knows he's got a lot of other guys out there. Bottom line is lighting up the scoreboard coming up. What is it like coaching these guys that are selfless, that are out there to be a team? Talk to us about that.
Well, I think it started from, how long have you all been playing together? Let's be honest, 7 years old?
Oh, yeah.
7 years old. They've been playing together, so they've grown up being friends. And so that camaraderie, that spirit of working together is already kind of built into them. And there wasn't anybody happier for him scoring his touchdown than anybody else on that receiving corps and the coaches. We all know we were already up pretty big at that point, but that was probably the highlight of the day for me, is to see him, because he works his tail off every day. He blocks, he does the things that nobody sees, and then he comes out and he scores a touchdown like that. And if you looked at the sidelines on the film, you'd see, all the receivers that were sitting over there were just giving him high fives, because they were really happy, because they grew up together. There's a bond here that's deeper than most teams we've had here. And I know maybe they may have grown up a little bit together, but not like this team. They've been playing Pee Wee football together since they were 7. So I think that's where it stems from.
I'm good with anybody who calls it Pee Wee football. I'm all right with that.
He's a former linebacker too. Cabo is. Cabo, he's a linebacker at heart. So it was when we were over under the defensive tent, and I had heard that he had scored a touchdown. I was really happy for him, and I think sometimes he likes to get back over there, maybe at linebacker a little bit to mix it up. But I think this is my 5th year here, and you and I, we've known each other for a while, so it's I've been coaching 24 years, and all 5 years that I've been here, I've really been impressed with all the teams. They've all been good teams. They have all had a certain chemistry about them that makes them special. This team right here is kind of like Coach McBride said. There's a closeness there, I think, because a lot of them have just played so long together. They've been around each other so long, and they're all friends. They're friends. They get along. They know each other really well, and so you hear it all the time that we have each other's back, and they really do. They really do. They play really well together. They want the best for each other. So that's one thing that I've seen with this team. All of them have been good. I've enjoyed all the 5 years that I've been here. This team, the chemistry is just really, it's just a step above of what I've seen in the past several years.
Coach Chambers, Coach McBride, thanks for being here. I appreciate you coming. Wish you well. Before we go, Friday night when you left, what did you say? Critique yourself. What did you say you had to work on this week? What was that for you?
Really blocking, creating better angles, getting so our backs could cut off and make it a clear picture for the run, for an open lane. Just making sure my blocks were more crisp and I was sealing off and making a big gap. So
again, congratulations on your touchdown catch, and we wish you well Friday night. And we wish this team, I will be over there Friday night on the sideline with the Union Panthers at 7:30 kickoff. Now you guys come over there, support the team, fill it up, fill the place up with Union Panther fans over there. 6-0, 6-0. It is the region championship. It's the region championship. this Friday night, 2A Region 8. And don't forget, Team FYN Sports always highlighting and promoting young athletes in a positive way. Thank you, Domino's Pizza and Pepsi, for the meal and drinks. Thank you, Circuit World of Blairsville. And don't forget, 10 a.m. every Monday morning, instant replay with Dave Garner on FYNTV.com. And one more thing, this coming Saturday, don't miss the Mountain Football League Super Bowl. That's from 6U to 11U. We will be there broadcasting it live, Team FYN Sports production of Mountain Football League Super Bowl. That's this Saturday. I don't know what else we got to do. Follow us on Twitter at Team FYN Sports, Instagram, and find our Facebook page. You know, we got to my age, Coach. I never thought I'd look at a camera and ask somebody to follow me, but that's what I want you to do. We're going home. We'll see you Friday night on the sideline.